Mexico is sending in 26 cartel members to the U.S. Big news. So Mexico is sending 26 high-ranking cartel figures to the United States. Here, according to CBS, those handed over to custody include Abigail Gonzalez Valencia, a leader of Los Cunis, a group closely aligned with notorious cartel Jalisco New Generation. So this is big news for the Trump administration, for Mexico. Here recently, Trump has made a comment about Mexico, and he said, we're going to send the U.S. military into Mexico to take out the cartel. Well, Mexican president did not like that at all, and she said, no, you're not sending in the soldiers. And then there's probably a lot of backdoor talk and a lot of negotiations, so this may or may not be part of those negotiations. Mexican officials said Wednesday the latest transfer was not part of wider negotiations as Mexico seeks to avoid higher tariffs threatened by President Trump. So Mexico saying, hey, it's not part of the negotiations, but, we'll see. These transfers, this is quotes, these transfers are not only a strategic measure to ensure public safety, but also reflect a firm determination to prevent these criminals from continuing to operate from within prisons and to break up their networks of influence. The Mexican security minister said this, and then the Mexican president said that the transfers were sovereign decisions. So referring to, she didn't make this on any negotiations or any threats from the president of the United States. Late last month, Mr. Trump spoke with Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, and agreed to put off threatened 30% tariffs for another 90 days to allow for negotiations. So if you remember, when the tariffs first came out across the world, it was really the first three countries were Mexico, Canada, and the United States. And these were specific to the fentanyl crisis coming over the border. So a lot of these negotiations with the tariffs are still dealing with the fentanyl and the border crisis. The transfers are a milestone for the Trump administration, which has made dismantling dangerous drug cartels a key Justice Department priority. It's the second time in months that Mexico has expelled cartel figures accused of narcotics smuggling, murder, and other crimes amid mounting pressure from the Trump administration. This is quotes from Pam Bondi. These 26 men have all played a role in bringing violence and drugs to American shores. Under this Department of Justice, they will face severe consequences for their crimes against this country. So this is really interesting. Here recently, what we have seen is the United States sending in who they thought were criminals and cartel leaders back to other countries. So if you think of the Venezuelan gangs, they were or the El Salvador, they were sending Venezuelan crime people to El Salvador to their prisons. This time it's the opposite. Mexico is sending the cartel members from Mexico into the United States to face justice inside the United States. Very different. The cartel figures were put on planes to the U.S. after the Justice Department agreed not to seek the death penalty. The transfer was of 29 cartel figures, including drug lord Rafael Caro Quintero, who was behind the killing of a USD agent in 1985. Sheinbaum has shown a willingness to cooperate more on security than her predecessor, specifically being more aggressive in pursuit of Mexico's cartels. But she has drawn a clear line when it comes to Mexico's sovereignty. Listen to this: rejecting suggestions by Mr. Trump and others of intervention by the U.S. military. So Sheinbaum has been very firm in saying, we are not going to have the U.S. put their soldiers inside of Mexico to take out the cartel. This goes back to January of this year when President Trump made an executive order designating the cartels as terrorist organizations. And when he did that, it gave more latitude as president for him to take care of these international issues. Last week, a source familiar with the matter confirmed to CBS News that Mr. Trump directed the military to target drug cartels in Latin America. Sheinbaum said there will be no invasion of Mexico. Also included in the group expelled Tuesday was Servando Gomez Martinez, also known as La Tuta, a former school teacher who became one of Mexico's most wanted drug lords as head of the Knights Templar cartel. He was captured in 2015, sentenced to 55 years in a Mexican prison in June of 2019. So you can see a lot of these guys were already in prison, and Mexico, it's sort of like a prison transfer, just sending them from Mexico to the United States to face justice inside of the United States. A lot of the criticism has come to President Trump from the threat to send soldiers inside of Mexico. A lot of people on the left say, no, we should respect Mexico's sovereignty. We should not send soldiers into Mexico. It's possible that President Trump will or will not do that, but it could just been a negotiation factor to get Mexico to come to the table. while Mexico is saying these are not part of negotiations with Trump about tariffs or about the U.S. soldiers coming in, it's possible that Mexico was feeling the heat a little bit from the United States threatening to send soldiers into Mexico. We'll see what happens next. What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think Mexico is going to continue sending cartel members? Do you think the United States soldiers will go into Mexico to take out some of these cartel members? What do you think? Put your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend. I will see you next time.